W's and L's, the weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we do like and an L to the things that we don't like. You, me, I got a short list. You want
Go.
me to go?
Yep.
All right. First off, I want to give a dub to the city of Chicago.
Chi-Town.
This weekend, I went out to Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Had to go see the fam. It was great time, great food. I love Chicago food. Italian beef, hot dogs, Harold's chicken, mild sauce. I love the city of Chicago. Every time I get a chance to go out there, just gotta shout out my people out there. Strange enough, so we were having a nice little party or whatever, and I got a text like real late, like I was like passed out, sleep, and I got a text on my phone that said the ops on 63rd, and I'm kind of concerned for my life now. I just wanted to throw that out there. The ops are on 63rd. Random text, don't know where the number came from.
You know who texted you that?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You,
I have
you
no
know
idea, bro.
you know exactly who sent you that text.
I have no idea who sent me that text, bro.
You know who sent you that fucking text.
Oh my god, I'm afraid.
You're not. But the only nigga that'll text you about some ops being on 63rd.
Who would send me that?
No one that needs to be mentioned. But please continue with your list. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Last dub goes to Martin Freeman. So we've been hearing a lot about what's going on with Black Panther 2. We've been hearing some things specifically from actors and actresses in the cast and crew. And most of them seem to say the exact same thing. Oh, this is going to be so great to honor Chadwick. Oh, I can't wait for everybody to see it because it's going to honor Chadwick. Martin Freeman, the colonizer of the group, has decided to say, hey, man, I don't know about what they saying, but look, it was kind of weird. It was kind of awkward filming this movie without Chadwick's presence. It was just a weird situation. What's your thoughts?
I appreciated the quote so much because it wasn't even so much of it being like slanted against Black Panther or anything like that, but it was just a honest depiction of what had to have been on that set. It wasn't this very, we're so sad about Chadwick. Oh man, everything's for Chadwick. Everything we do is about Chadwick. It was like, no, narratively, there's an obvious hole here. Right? And it's weird to be shooting this movie because I think he even mentions that at the end of the first movie, he's alive and well. So don't talk to me about the feels, right? Because at the end of the day, I've heard all of you talk about the feels multiple times. And the reality is you guys were coworkers. Right? So like I've listened to his actual family members talk about their grief behind, losing Chadwick. I don't necessarily want to take that from coworkers, if that makes sense. Like family's one thing, but we talking about actors and they work together. Again, these are people that
Yeah.
didn't even know that Chadwick was ill. But giving me the sure to be accepted response, the one that invokes the most emotion and is going to give you the most political cover in anything that you say, right? As long as we make it all about Chadwick, we don't really have to be on the hook for anything that we said this movie was going to be, and we haven't really gotten anything.
Yeah.
Right? Other than it's going to be about Chadwick. It's going to be all for Chadwick. It's going to make him proud. It's going to honor Chadwick. They keep using him as a shield for what they can't give us about the movie. Because A, it's Marvel and they're pretty close-lipped about their projects, and B, the production has been a nightmare from all accounts.
Yeah.
Milton Freeman seems to be the only one that wants to speak like a normal human being, off script, not by the Marvel beat. Like, hey, what's actually going on? How do you feel?
And like you said, what he said doesn't necessarily damage the whole thing. It's not damaging in how he verbalized it. It was very real. It was very honest, but at the same time, he could probably still keep his job.
Yeah, like he didn't say anything that I feel like he didn't give any information. He just said what everyone's thinking, but no one has the balls to say. Now, I will say that I do believe that Martin Freeman probably has a little bit more leeway to spout out and say certain things that maybe Lupita Nyong'o wouldn't have, or Danny Guerrera, or Angela Bassett, for obvious reasons, right? I mean, Mark Ruffalo get away with dropping shit all the time, unless you're talking about Israel.
Mm.
Another conversation for another day. But yeah, so I don't want to be too harsh on him, but at the same time, at the end of the day, he's the only one that said anything that sounds remotely true.
I would agree
Like from the jump,
wholeheartedly.
because he said something about the script when it was still being written about it being weird. So that was even before they got on set and started recording. So at least I
And then,
know that Freeman is consistent in
yeah,
whatever he's describing about this movie. We were hearing, oh, we're gonna honor Chadwick before the script was even done.
yep.
Didn't know anything about the plot, how we were gonna change the script, nothing. Y'all didn't know nothing. We're gonna honor Chadwick, we're gonna honor him. How? How?
You don't even know
By
what the script is
retiring?
yet.
Yeah, you didn't even know. So like even from that standpoint, you knew, certain levels of what you're getting out of the cast and crew right now is kind of bullshit. This one just felt the most honest.
I would agree. I would agree.
Mm.
Moving on, I should have gave this L with my last dub. So in watching the Kentucky Derby, I had to sit there and watch Jack Harlow and Drake be all over this thing. And it reminded me
They were at the
of the
Kentucky
fact that,
Derby.
well, Jack Harlow's from Kentucky. He's from
That means he
Louisville.
has to be at the Derby. Was Bryson Tiller there?
No, I
Like,
don't think he's ever been there either.
was Layla Ali there?
But
Like, what the?
those things actually play hand in hand with my point. I think Jack Harlow is extremely overrated for one thing and one thing only.
For being a white rapper? I think
And
he's slightly talented, but yeah, most of the aesthetic is that he's a
I
cool
think
white
he's
guy.
talented. I think he's talented. I agree that he has some skill and talent. He's good at rapping.
Mhm.
I think they're rolling him out as if he's like they're putting him next to like Lil Baby in terms of like who's next up. He's not Lil Baby level.
If Jack Harlow was black, it'd be like does Joyner Lucas get this much hype?
No. You know what I like in Jack Harlow too?
I feel like Joyner Lucas is probably a very good comparison. Go ahead.
You know what I like in him too a lot? Big Sean, when Big Sean made Hall of Fame.
No, no, because even when Big Sean made Hall of Fame, Big Sean had elite level skills. He had an elite level skill set.
But he
There isn't a
wasn't
single
using it
thing.
to his
It was
potential.
there though. It was there though. You could see it. The talent was there. Jack Harlow doesn't have a single elite attribute. Not
But I'm
flow,
saying
not pen,
his
not delivery,
entire
not content. He doesn't have a single elite skill.
yeah,
Elite, top level. Like he's okay at a lot of things. He's good at some. He's not elite at anything.
but Big Sean wasn't using his elite skill at how he needed it to use it.
It's
So it
still
wasn't
it's
apparent.
like you trying to
I don't think it was apparent.
compare. It's like you trying to compare Tyler Hero coming into the league in his first 3 years to Allen Iverson. There's clearly a level that Allen Iverson had that Tyler
Okay,
Hero
that's
would
fair.
never and could never have.
That's fair. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I ain't even no Big Sean stand like that, but I had to stand up for my guy on that one.
But no, but the problem is it feels like people are just extremely overrating him. Now,
Oh yeah, for sure.
maybe not so much now because people are saying his album is trash. I listened to 4 tracks from that album.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh,
good.
okay.
The four tracks that I listened to, the Drake feature, the Lil Wayne feature, and then the 2 singles, wasn't crazy about him whatsoever. So maybe he's not being overrated now, but I'm giving the L to both Jack Harlow and Alex because Alex is in love with Jack Harlow. And I don't understand it.
Of course.
I don't understand it. But it is what it is. I'll leave that there. My last and final L goes to Kevin Samuels haters.
Ooh, we got to talk about it.
So, unfortunately, we have heard that over the past weekend, Kevin Samuels has passed at the age of 57. We have been recorded on what our thoughts were about Kevin Samuels as he was making content. However, I don't feel like however you felt about a person, however negatively you felt about a person, should not display itself in a certain way once that person has passed. You don't speak ill on the dead. Look, if a person passes and you feel a way about them, you just kind of let that be what it is, and you just kind of let that go. You don't speak ill on the dead means specifically you shouldn't be parading on Twitter and happy, dancing around on Twitter like everything is great now that this man is passed.
Like, if you went out of your way to say something negative or detrimental to not only Kevin Samuels, but the people who are mourning Kevin Samuels, you're a dick. And here's what I mean by go out of your way. If you logged into your app, started typing a message, included Kevin Samuels' name, and said something negative, you went out of your way to be detrimental in lieu of someone's death. That you're a dick. You're a dick.
Yeah.
If you looked at people mourning Kevin Samuels, retweeted some shit, and said some shit about people being sad that he's gone, you're just a dick. Like there's no way around it. Like, you're a bad person for that. You may let me. That's kind of harsh. But good people do not speak, like you did, speak ill of the dead, or bombard the airwaves with your detrimental opinion of that person days after their death, or the day of, or the same day. Why is it necessary for everyone to know that you don't care for Kevin Samuels on this point? You had infinite days prior to tell everybody what you thought about Kevin Samuels. It never mattered. It didn't matter on Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. It didn't matter on any of them days. But the day he dies, that's when everybody has to know that you don't care for him or agree.
Especially when you can literally ignore it.
The ugliest shit I seen on there was when somebody said that it was karma that he died next to a white woman. Like, how does that can't feel good saying that? Like I just imagine that person reading that tweet later and being like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. It's karma.
Did he kill somebody?
Karma. Like likening him to the guy, the dude, the one that has the murder trial going on right now, the one who got murdered. He had the crazy Twitter threads talking about black women and stuff like that. And everything that Kevin Samuels said about women in general was not great, and we didn't agree with it, right? And we talked about it, we combated it, vehemently disagreed, we debated it, right? We talked about it like intellectuals. There's nothing intellectual about denouncing someone's mourning of someone that they want to mourn,
or kicking a man while he can't defend himself.
It's not even. You can still come out and talk about Kevin Samuels' politics. You can still talk about Kevin Samuels' social views, his dating views, his advice that he gives out, even to this day, if that's what you feel. But discouraging other people who did find a connection to Kevin Samuels and going out of your way to do so is a very ugly thing to do. It is. It's just a very ugly thing to do, and I don't see the reason or the rhyme for it. If you don't care about the man, now would be the best time for you not to speak about him, right?
Ignore it.
You can feel how you want to feel without using your Twitter fingers, right? Usually people don't speak on things that they don't care about, right? Did you notice a Kevin Samuels tweet going out from the back of the bus Twitter account? Because I don't have any connection to Kevin Samuels, it doesn't do me any good to fake grief about his death. I am sorry that he passed, but I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that I liked him. I also don't have to sit up here and try to tear him down in the wake of his passing. I seen a video clip of him today, and boy, it must have been rare because it was one of the only ones that I seen where he was talking about the importance of black men and black women working together. Maybe I just didn't watch enough Kevin Samuels, but he was just saying like, for the black men ain't shit crowd, right? That faction of our community. At what point are you going to start looking for some sort of solution? I'm giving a roundabout paraphrasing of what the clip
Paraphrasing.
said, but he was basically saying like the majority of the time, if I'm having a discussion with a young woman and she ends up finding a young man that wants the same things, that are saying the same things, it works out. It doesn't benefit black men to be out here, dogging black women, and it doesn't benefit black women to be out here dogging black men. How can you sit up here and have so much vitriol for the mirror image of you, right? The opposite sex mirror image of you, right? The half of which was responsible for your creation. And that cuts both ways. You wouldn't be on this planet if not for black women. You would not be on this planet without black men. And furthermore, you cannot perpetuate people that look like you without them. So how does it, if you talking black love, if you talking about protecting black women, if you talking about protecting black men, if you're talking about having supportive women, if you have any type of want for the opposite sex in your race, how do you do that without them? That came out of Kevin Samuels' mouth. So even a guy I disagree with, I'm capable of agreeing if I look deep enough, if I care to search for common ground.
Yep.
If you care about that, though, if your aim is just to trade quips and make viral tweets being edgy, then I guess
There's no
Twitter is the
saving you.
place for you. Yeah. But if you're interested in something better, try harder. You're not trying very hard when you're making fun of people or you're discouraging people from mourning someone in their passing.
1000%. I agree. That was my last L. It is on you.
All right, let's go. Let's start out with the positives. We'll start out with the dubs this week. So I'm giving a dub out to Dmitry Bivol for becoming only the second man to get a dub over my man Canelo.
Canelo. Damn,
Boy,
dog.
Canelo has some words to say about his weight after the fight. I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna take that from you, man. Honestly, he just Bivol looked like the more aggressive fighter. He was
Yeah.
bigger than Canelo. He punched more. It. I didn't expect to see Canelo hit the mat, but I was surprised how Bivol was able to stop him in his tracks. You don't
Yep.
really see too many guys being able to match power with Canelo. So impressive fight, man. Definitely impressive fight. Still undefeated. A name to be watched out for. So shout out to Dmitry Bivol.
Is there a rematch next for
I think
Canelo then?
so. I think he
It's not Triple
said
G.
if let him tell it, he like 168. Now, to me, it didn't look like he was very comfortable.
Yeah.
I know I'm serious, like just in terms of having to handle fighting a bigger guy. He's usually the bigger guy. He's usually the more physically imposing fighter. He was not this round. I think his jaw held up fine, but that's not what you want to be saying if you the champ. You know what I mean? Like,
For
hey,
sure.
strong chin out there, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You didn't get knocked out.
yeah. So I think from what he's said after the fight, that's where he wants to be, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Not mad at it.
Uh,
We'll see.
Second dub I got is going out to Joe Marie Payton. Name may sound familiar. This is the
Sugar
mother
Mama.
from, yes, Sugar Mama, and the mother from Family Matters. First of all, I need to give a dub out to Comedy Hype News, bro, because they be dropping the gems. They do all of the where are they nows, right? That shit is dope. They be getting all of the sound bites from people that I didn't even know was still around, and they be
I
dropping little jewels of history that I didn't know.
I seen I think an interview they did with Katie, is it Katie Albert? Katie Albert? She was in Soul Plane. She was in Friday After Next, like
Yes,
the
the dark skinned chick, right? Yes, 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 yes. I remember her. They find a lot of people like that, and just kind of catch up on them, see what their story was. I think that's a really dope concept. But shout out to them to bringing this for my attention. So apparently, did you know that Jaleel White's Urkel character was added on to family members? Like
Yes, I did. I did.
he was a
Because
one-time appearance. Yeah.
originally it was supposed to be about Joe Marie Payton, her character, and like their family, I guess, as a whole.
And the family. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I never knew that. I never knew that it started off as just like a
I've
family
heard that.
sitcom, and then
Hmm.
each had a one-time appearance, and they just kept bringing them back. So
Yep.
obviously that caused some friction with the rest of the cast, right? So apparently Jaleel White during one of the recording sessions talking about Joe Marie Payton is talking out loud and says, "I guess she want to have a melee." After a back and forth that they had. Jaleel White threatened some woman, whether it was Judy or it was Joe Marie Payton, and Joe Marie Payton told him, "I'm here for the smoke. Drop the Addy, we gonna slide."
Yeah.
Basically, in 1990s form, which
Yep.
is dope. I'm
You know,
wondering why goddamn Eddie and Carl didn't step up first and tell his young ass to sit the fuck down, because apparently Urkel was a terror.
I've heard that too.
Jaleel White was awful on set, apparently.
I've heard that multiple times actually.
So yeah, shout out to Joe Marie Payton, because she wasn't having that shit. Sugar Mama wasn't playing.
At all. She down for her niggas.
No, for sure. So from one grandma to another, I have to give can't talk today. I have to give out a heartfelt dub to my great grandmother, Grandma Nanny Sanders, who celebrated her 100th birthday actually back in January. But we weren't able to have the party, due to COVID and everything like that.
Yep.
Cleveland is
Yep.
crazy. But man, that is a blessing.
It
We were
is.
able to go celebrate with her and eat, talk, she spoke to us for a while. There was a part in there where they just kind of talked about the time that she came up with at being 100 years old. So the first vehicle that she rode in was a horse and buggy, like literally.
Yeah.
Literally, her grandparents were slaves, like legit slaves.
Hmm.
Not sharecropping. That was her parents were sharecroppers. Her grandparents were slaves. My great
Mm.
grandmother's grandparents were slaves.
Yeah.
Right? Like the most popular artist, I think, when she was born was Louis Armstrong.
Yep. Yep.
Louis damn Armstrong, man. Like it is absolutely amazing, and I feel honored and blessed that she's still here with us. So shout out to Grandma Nanny.
I can't understate this enough. If you have those older loved ones still in your family, or even just loved ones in general, spend that time with them and enjoy that time with them, because when they're gone, unfortunately, you don't get to continue those memories. So make sure
For
you
sure.
always bask in the energy of the loved ones that you have around you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so on to the negative news. Let's go ahead and handle Chris Rock here for a second.
Uh,
So, in the midst of everybody fighting. Notice in this situation who's fighting and who's talking. In the midst of this situation with Dave Chappelle, where the guy jumps on the stage and security and Jamie Foxx swarm the dude, you know what I mean, get him up out of here. Some asshole in the stadium has to take the opportunity to make himself seem tough or throw a jab he knew wasn't going to be responded to or couldn't be responded to in any meaningful way, or have a safe area to talk his shit when the person he really wants to talk shit to isn't around. I don't really know what it was that he was going at, but Chris Rock makes the joke about, hey, is that Will Smith? Chris, let me explain something to you, bro. I never got on this train about you being a bigger man and you deserve an apology and all this other shit because you disrespected a man's wife. You know you did. When you do that, you run the risk of getting hands put on you. That's the guy's honest truth. And that's not me talking about what's moral, what's right or wrong, what the letter of the law says. The law of the wild says you disrespect mine and you are at risk. It's the rules of the wild. And everybody with our reproductive organs, whether you ascribe to that type of behavior or not, should at least have an understanding of it. Right? So, for you to take the high road and not say anything to Will after he smacked the dog shit out of your face on national television, a moment that will go down in infamy. You said it yourself, the greatest moment in television. People will be replaying pictures of you getting smacked by Will Smith until the day you die. I know that shit eats at you. I know it does. It's tearing your soul up that you didn't put hands on Will Smith. You want to know why I know? You want to know why I know? Two reasons. Number one is the shitty ass joke you told on stage that had nothing to do with nothing and didn't need to be said, especially because you declined to do anything when the man was in your face. Secondly, is this whole story about you almost killing somebody when you was a kid. Why are you telling me stories about how violent you were as a child and you have no violence for me today? I don't want to hear validations about how tough you were from some random story about how you might have almost killed somebody because you hit him with a brick because you was tired of getting bullied. Fam, shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
I'm not sure if you heard the rumors as well. There are rumors that, maybe a day or two later after the whole Chappelle situation, that Chris Rock was, comics usually go around and they tell jokes to kind of form the big jokes that they're going to do at their comedy specials or whatever. So he was just kind of spitballing jokes. And apparently he called Will Smith the softest rapper ever and said that the softest rapper ever hit me.
And you are the softest nigga. Excuse my language. You're the softest man. You're the softest man. Because you don't want to know why I didn't give Chris Rock no credit. Or I did give him credit for not pressing charges. But the reason why I wouldn't give him no bail on the Jada thing is because I knew. I smell niggas like Chris Rock. I knew it. I knew the minute that he got from in front of them white people that he didn't want to upset even more than they already were, that he was going to try to come back here and talk tough. No, nigga, you had your chance. Tough guys don't let weak rappers smack them in the mouth and make a joke about it. Tough guy, you can't get that back. We all seen it, Chris. We saw it happen. You don't get to come back and make jokes about Will Smith. He beat your ass, pretty much. You don't get to come back here to us and say, oh, yeah, I would have, and back in the day when I had my brick in my backpack from getting bullied every day, by the way. Right? You so tough that, oh my God. Whatever happened to the old school, the OG niggas being like, yeah, we used to fight with these. You win some, you lose some. Whatever happened to that, Chris? What happened to that shit? We used to have no weapons. We got in the street and we shot the fair ones. What happened to that? Oh, geez. What's up? What's up with your boy? He carrying bricks in his purse like your grandma? Fuck is that? Best Eye? Get your mans. Get your mans, Best Eye. The hell is he talking about? Y'all got your young men out there carrying purses with bricks in them for protection? Get out of here, bro. You're not tough. You are not a tough guy, and you don't get to be a tough guy now. Stay on that high horse. You was loving it a few weeks ago when everybody was talking about you. Don't try to come back talking that tough shit now. Because if you ever walked up on him, you wouldn't have nothing to say. Not a word. You're going to be right back to taking the high road again, right? Right? So stay up there. Stay up
Fact
there,
is a
bro.
fact. A fact is a fact.
Oh, he pissed me off with that. Meghan McCain sold a book that started selling about 7 months, y'all, and it sold 300 copies. I just wanted to throw that out there. We don't have to stay on it for too long. But a woman with the last name McCain, a man who was, a couple thousand
American
votes away from
hero.
being president. Yeah, the Maverick. The Maverick. Wrote a book called The Bad Republican that sold 300 physical copies.
She should know more than 300 people.
Yo, fam. 300 is usually what the person writing the book buys to try to get the ball rolling. Like Dave Rubin, he went and bought like 1,000 copies of his own book to try to get it on the bestseller. You know what I mean? Like that's usually the shit that you buy yourself to try to propel your book.
Maybe I'm a little overzealous in saying this, but I would like to think I can write a book right now and
sell more
300
than 300
squad
copies?
homies would
Fam,
buy it.
fam, abso-fucking-lutely. I can go door to door and sell more than 300 copies.
You know?
Oh my God, that is fucking hilarious. All right, last L, close out the night. Terry Crews also wrote a book.
Fuck.
Yeah, man. And unfortunately, this whole I am starting to believe the whole sexual assault angle is a thing to work for Terry Crews.
Did not know what the book was about.
And you knew it, didn't you? And you knew it. You knew it.
Immediately assumed.
You knew it. Yep. It gets so much worse. It gets so much worse. So much worse. So in the book, he talks about a period in his life where his mother was abusive to him, right? So I'm gonna set the stage that way because I feel like it needs to be.
For sure.
And what he described to me sounded like an old school parent administering health care in the only way that they have ever been taught. So his mother, when he started to become of age, wanted to know if he had hit puberty. And to find out, she basically just told him to drop trout. To see if he has some hair, right? So that's the whole of the abuse. Was his mom made him pull his pants down. Not that she touched him, not that it got, any physical beyond that, like it was sexual at all. It was like literally well, this is how I know to check whether or not boys are hitting puberty because it's the only way I've ever known. It's not 2022. It's not ultra progressive parenting. And not to say that everything that was done by our parents and grandparents was right. But I also don't think that all of it was necessarily done out of malice and therefore should be treated as if it was done by someone with malicious intent. It should be treated as if someone was being a predator towards you. And for him to use his mother in that way just seems very wrong. Because I feel like he knows, he even talks about later on in the book about how his father physically abuses his mother. And that was his reason for getting bigger, for getting stronger, for gaining the muscle, eventually going on to play college football and NFL, right? How can a person who watched his father beat his mother up all the time feel like what his mother did was also abuse? Like I can't tell him how to be affected, I guess, but if there was just some weird stories that I just didn't want to get out, that's probably one of them. I don't feel like that was abusive.
Feel like there is probably a link between the two in the sense that they both probably made him feel a sense of discomfort.
Yeah,
However,
man, but
one
how many
very
times have your parents made you feel uncomfortable? Was it abuse?
I was going to say one very clearly seems like in the more recent obviously story, one was more of I have power, I have control over you, and I'm about to take what's mine almost. And the older story kind of seems like, yeah, it was probably uncomfortable, but at the same time, it, like you said, it didn't come from a place of malice. There was no
Like, I'm just trying
overarching
to
power over
imagine.
it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to imagine if we turn this around and turned it into, Terry Cruz's sister and her helping her apply a tampon or something like that. Is it predatory then? If she told her to pull her pants down and she helped her apply a tampon, would it have been predatory? So then, like, again, he did not accuse her of molesting him. The literal abuse was making him pull his pants down. That's the reach that you're gonna go for your mother. Now, if this was some other individual, some coach, some other parent, something like that, I get. But your mother, shit, at that age, my mom is probably about the only one that can see it. And the doctor, I don't.
Yeah.
Why would you ever paint your mother in the light of a sexual abuser?
Unless she did something way worse. That's the
And
only
he just
other
not telling us? Like, this is
that's
the
literally the only thing I can think of. Like if you were already severely uncomfortable around your mother, that would make sense at that point. But in this case, just by itself, doesn't really read.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about the fact that the story about the movie exec that groped him at the party. It's just like, not that it's unbelievable, but it sounds like to me that you went to a party where a man grabbed your junk and you allowed him to do it. It's kind of what you just described to me. And whereas most women that happens to, they don't have any type of recourse or voice to fight it. That is just simply not the case for Terry Crews. Not only does he have money to fight it legally, but he also has the physical prowess to intimidate 9 out of every 10 men that he meets. So at very least, you could have stopped his advances. But it sounds like you allowed this man to grope you and then used it as some sob story years later, the same way you're doing with this obscure story about your mom checking whether or not you're hitting puberty by pulling your pants down.
The only thing that I can see from that is that he's severely emotionally stunted from something in both cases. Either that or yeah, no, I don't know if I can believe either one either.
I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And it's starting to become a trend, which is not no bueno. No bueno. That's
Agree.
it for me though. For the dubs and the L's, make sure you give us your thoughts and comments in the prompt below on ours, and give us your dubs and L this week as well.
And make sure you check out our playlist full of previous W's and L's just to catch up on what we've been talking about, what we've been discussing. And make sure, like he said, make sure you subscribe so you can check out our W's and L's every Wednesday. Peace.